You know those nights when it seems like God has gone silent? Well, João was experiencing exactly that. It was a rainy Friday and he was driving alone, his tank nearly empty and his heart even heavier. He'd been a truck driver for over 20 years, a hard-working guy from a simple family, but in the last few weeks everything had gone wrong. He'd lost his job, the bills were piling up, and his hope seemed to have evaporated along with the fuel that was already running low. Then, in the middle of the road, the truck coughed, sputtered, and died. Heavy rain, icy wind, and no cell phone signal. João took a deep breath and for the first time in a long time, prayed. But it wasn't that pretty prayer, full of precise words. It was simple, almost a confession. God, if you still care about me, give me a sign, just a sign. A few minutes later, far down the road, a headlight appeared. A car was approaching slowly. João was relieved. He thought it was help. When the car stopped, an elderly man rolled down the window and asked calmly, "Son, do you need any help?" João explained what had happened, and the man, with that peaceful look in his eyes, replied, "Get in. I'll take you to the nearest gas station." On the way, they barely said much, but what little the old man did say, it seemed to come straight from the heart of God. He said that sometimes the Lord allows us to reach our limits to remind us who is truly in control. True faith is born in the storm, not in the sun. João listened silently, somewhat confused, but he felt something different, a peace he hadn't felt in a long time. When they arrived at the gas station, João turned to say thank you, and the car simply wasn't there anymore. It disappeared. The attendant, seeing his expression, asked, "What's wrong, sir? Is everything okay?" João said that a man had left him there, and the young man replied, somewhat confused, "Sir, no one has been on this road for hours. It's been closed since the flood." At that moment, João stood still. He looked up at the sky, his eyes brimming with tears, and he understood. That request for a sign had been answered. God hadn't forgotten him. He was never alone, not even on that dark road. After that day, João's life changed. Not because he became rich, nor because his problems disappeared, but because he discovered something much greater, that even in silence, God still speaks. And sometimes, he speaks softly, only to those who still have the courage to listen. What about you? Have you ever experienced something that seemed like a coincidence, but deep down, you knew it was God taking care of every detail? Because that's what we talk about here. Real stories full of faith, hope, and transformation. Welcome to Faith Shadow's Real Christian Stories, where every whisper of grace comes to life.